It's hard to call a 7-year-old a liar, but from a reality standpoint, 7-year-olds lie.
Well, it's hard to imagine a 7-year-old child pitted against her father, Assemblyman Dr. Joaquin Arambula, but that's what we have here. Absolutely unreal. But we're going to talk about it. Our panel ready to weigh in as this case will be played out in the court of public opinion. Time to take roll call. Our political analyst, host of his own podcast, Unfiltered with Jim Veros. Jim Veros, he also makes a killer pizza, I'm told. In the middle, Eric Payne, a district trustee for the State Center Community College. Welcome. And the executive editor of the San Joaquin Valley Sun, Alex Tavlian. Alex, I'm going to begin with you. You were in court. You've been following this like all of you guys have been following. You heard the legal aspects from David Mugridge. He's even saying, the part where, that Dr. Joaquin Arambula accidentally fell and may have hit her at that point in time. A lot of allegations still flowing around. It's going to be hard to prove, but in the court of public opinion, is he already guilty?
Yeah, he is. I think the game was over December 10th, or December 11th, 2018, when Joaquin Arambula came in to go on every television station in Fresno and tell the public that he spanked his daughter on the bottom only. Because the facts clearly, based on all of the allegations that have been displayed, don't mention the word spanking anywhere when it comes to what his daughter is claiming. And so at that moment, he is officially a liar in the eyes of pretty much everybody. And so you start off on the wrong foot, and a jury is going to see that off the bat. And so how do you recover that credibility gap day one?
Eric, I'll come to you because we heard Michael Evans, the head of the Fresno County Democratic Party, even say, hey, we think when this all comes clear, everything will be cleared for Dr. Joaquin Arambula. Is this something now, is his political future already damaged before he goes to trial?
I think that Assemblymember Arambula is an individual and a public servant that is of high integrity. And I think his leadership has displayed that. And I think that this is a very complicated case. I think it is highly unusual that the district attorney would prosecute on a misdemeanor. I think as a parent, you want to ensure that you give your children the best things in life, and he and his wife have done just that. I think that I'm concerned when I look at the public safety officials interrogate a 7-year-old child. And for me, it's almost, it makes you wonder, what's really happening here? So those things are concerning to me.
Jim, I'll come to you. I know you have a newborn. I have a 6-year-old, and yeah, there could be some cases, kids throw tantrums to get attention, or, they're a little bit over dramatic. I don't know if kids are specific enough. I mean, I have a 6-year-old. He doesn't tell me specific things where he's making up stories either. That's just me personally. But when you read everything that's going on in this case and the summary of some of the facts, what's the first thing that comes to mind as now the defense attorney for Joaquin Arambula is going to try to check the credibility of a 7-year-old?
Yeah, as a father, it was difficult to read the filings on both. The prosecution.
Same here.
It was a difficult read, only because obviously my son's a newborn, so I'm not in those shoes. But it's a difficult read. I think politically, it's going to be very, very difficult for Assemblyman Arambula to keep his seat. And from what I'm hearing from Sacramento, they're waiting for the photos to be released in court, and that's when leadership will then move forward on preparing for a special election.
Wait, even before there is a verdict handed down by a jury?
After these filings, that's what I'm hearing from Sacramento, yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Eric, when you hear something like that, unfair, I mean, because don't you have to let justice play out?
Absolutely. I think that the facts need to be presented, and I think that there are a number of allegations that have been brought forward that have not been substantiated.
The Speaker of the House was here a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Did not defend Joaquin Arambula. this week, after all the filings happened, I didn't see one group come out and defend him politically. I didn't see the local party. I didn't see the state party. I didn't see anybody call a press conference saying, hold your horses, we have his back. Not one person came to his defense politically. That leads me to believe what I'm hearing from Sacramento, which is they are preparing for him to leave.
Well, and to piggyback on Jim, there's, as I said earlier, there's a credibility issue here for him, and that goes to leadership in the assembly. I think the fact that they're having to tar and feather a 7-year-old in court demonstrates just the sheer hole that they've already dug themselves into. And so from a political standpoint, I can understand where leadership in Sacramento is saying, look, it doesn't matter about a conviction. You've already lost all the moral high ground you had going into this by claiming that this was politically motivated or whatever. And so that's where I think Jim might have a point to be made, that this doesn't matter about due process anymore.
Eric, I want to come to you, because when you talk about what's happening in the courtroom already, the judge has already said, hey, no gamesmanship here, no grandstanding, and we saw some of that. Even the reference to Jesse Smollett happening right off the bat here, looking for some kind of pre-trial plea. And Joaquin Arambula was, no, I'm not doing that. Do you think that was the wrong move by Joaquin Arambula not to strike a plea deal and not to have this play out in front of the public?
I think what you have is a justice system that is not just towards people of color. And I think when you look at the overall circus that has embodied this individual's character and all these other things that they've called into question and attacked, it's alarming to me.
So wait, are you saying that this now race plays a factor here?
I think that when you look at the justice system, that black and brown people are incarcerated at higher rates than non-people
I'm talking
of
about
color.
this case in particular.
I think that when you look at the justice system, you have to look at who is penalized the most to receive any type of ill treatment through incarceration.
I mean, with all due
The justice system didn't call Casey 24 to call an interview with Evan Onstad on December 10th. If Joaquin Arambula doesn't call that interview isn't in the hands of the police the next day. Chief Jerry Dyer doesn't go on multiple media outlets and go after him on that. If Joaquin Arambula simply makes a small statement, he gets a plea deal and he walks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and this is going to play out in the court of public opinion, as we started this segment with. And was that damaging to him to not strike a plea deal?
I think absolutely, because at the end of the day now, there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of contradictions that he has to face, and there are a lot of allegations that he's going to look at. And for a jury, it's not pretty. It's going to be a very ugly case for Joaquin Arambula.
We got to punctuate it there, guys, and let's keep in mind our thoughts and prayers for the 7-year-old, too. This is very tough for a family and what they're going through. So I know we're doing this.
There is so much childhood trauma that his daughter is experiencing through this.
Yes. Guys, thank you. Round 2 coming up. But